Police Central University of Kerala, who has who has written interesting articles like "The Center Cannot Hold the Rise of Other Englishes," and he has also contributed to our volume, and his essay is translated into Kannada as "Englishina Baya Yarige Kechadiya Bharatadalli Siddha Manobhumike Pallata." We now request Dr. Joseph Koyapalli to rate his experience of Kerala.
First of all, I would like to thank Kuampu Bhasha Bharati Pradhikara for inviting me to this place, and I must congratulate the organizers for bringing up such a vital topic for a serious debate all over India. Now, before I came up here, Professor Patnaik asked me, he asked me to write my name. It's a piece of paper, and I wrote Associate Professor, Central University of Kerala. And then he asked me, what are you an Associate Professor in? Then I completed for him Associate Professor in English. But I've been teaching English for some time, but my department is known as Comparative Literature. I also happen to head the Department of Hindi, and I also happen to head the Department of Linguistics, and I am the Dean of the School of Languages. I do not want to say this to say what I am, but the predicament under which we are working. Now, this conference looks at, basically targets English language. That's why most of the speakers were airing their views. And this is a conference dominated by linguists. I am as a language fanatic as any of you are, provided that language defended is Malayalam. My language I like the most. There is no doubt about it. That is my Madra Bhasha. In Malayalam there is a piece of poem by one of our famous poets called Vallathol. It goes like this: Bharatam enna peru kettal abhimana pooridamaganam antarangam. Keralam enna peru kettalo telakkanam chora nyarambugaliൽ. My blood should boil if I hear the name Kerala. Of course, I am proud when I hear about India. Now, I am speaking in English, against English, in a conference of people who have come over here from all different languages. If I speak in any other language, I am sure I won't be as communicative as I am to you. If I speak in Malayalam, of course, hardly a handful of you might understand. If I speak in Hindi, some more might understand. But if I speak in English, I think some more might understand. That is how this conference takes place. Mother tongue, before that, nobody wants to be a minority. The Supreme Court judgment came out in terms of the judgment of on minorities' language, whether the minority has a right to choose a particular language to teach, other than their own language. A minority may be Tulu, but can they run a school in English? That was the verdict that the Supreme Court gave. Supreme Court gave the judgment, it can choose. Now, nobody would like to be in a minority, but everybody is a minority at some point or the other, at some time. Only when you face the majority, the threat that overhangs minority will be understood. About mother tongue, we say mother tongue, just like our mother. Now, if you look at our own mothers, she is the least recognized person. She is the reason for my existence, and she is the one who loves me most. She is the one who serves me most, but she is the last one that I recognize. The same way, mother tongue is the last one that we recognize because it's always there. It has been there. Now the question is, we have been all speaking about our mother tongues, but what have we done for our mother tongue? What have we done to strengthen my mother tongue. We say that our medium of instruction must be Kannada, Malayalam, or ex-mother tongue, whatever it is. But what did we do? Does my mother tongue have the capacity to impart education as efficiently as English does? What have we done? In my university, that's the reason why I started with the statement that I was the dean of a school. Dr. Srinathan, our fellow worker in PLSI, was there. He was invited to come over to head the Department of Linguistics. And we made an ambitious plan. The ambitious plan was to build a corpus of Malayalam language. Corpus starting right from the beginning, the very first document in Malayalam to contemporary Malayalam, and build a corpus, build a dictionary, and then tell the world we can communicate, we can engage our classes in Malayalam language. Till then, it is simply not possible. How many of us, we have been signing petitions online. There is nothing wrong about it. We should do that. But the amount that you spend in signing petitions can better be done in building a dictionary of comprehensive Kannada or a comprehensive mother tongues all over the world. That is why Professor Devi's mission is there. PLSI did a bit of a job. Its job was to present to us the languages of India. It has been documented. But then the comprehensive corpus of each of these language is not available. Unless it is available, we will not be able to speak authentically in that language. Now, who has to do it? That is a question. Instead of merely speaking that my mother tongue should be highlighted, we have to contribute to the mother tongue to make it highlighted. That is where Professor Patnaik in the morning, he was mourning about the lack of linguistics department in India. I will tell you about my experience of linguistics department. Professor Srinathan made this brilliant plan, and we have been working on it. And then one fine morning, the university administration decided that this post belonged to a certain reserved category, and so he cannot be accommodated. He found a better post in some other university. Thankfully, he is continuing this project there. And there are no takers for the linguistics courses. Why? I asked many students, why are you not taking these courses? Their simple question is, where is the employment? Who will employ me if I take linguistics? They would prefer to study English language course, English literature program, because they say job is available, not in the other language. Now, that is where the question of Professor Patnaik, who has joined us now, becomes relevant. Why is there a lack of linguistics department in the country? What are we doing for that? Linguistics is being ignored. And if we start a corpus for languages, if we start a linguistics corpus for languages, it will be able to absorb, give job to different people of at different levels, qualified linguists. If such a program runs for all these languages, 700 odd languages which PLSI has mapped, or the other languages, 1,100 odd languages as the Census of India maps, if each of these languages develops its own corpus, we will have to have many more language professionals. Sahitya Academy, Kendra Sahitya Academy and state Sahitya Academies should take up this as a primary priority in promoting language. We cannot just say that language is there, so it will develop. Just like our old mother out there. Pay attention to her. She has been delivering for you, but now it is your job to take care of it. Let me come to Kerala's case. I'm thankful to Professor Nachimuthu who spoke before me. He comes from an area between Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So he had done half of my job. The state of Kerala was formed along with the linguistic reorganization of the states in 1956. Before that, there was no Kerala. It was divided into three major states: Travancore, Kochi and Malabar. And these three states had no linguistic identity. And none of the Indian states which speak about language identity today had any linguistic identity at that point. Before independence, before linguistic reorganization of the state, we never had any linguistic identity. We had some other kind of identities, but not linguistic language identity. This is a product of linguistic reorganization of the states. In Travancore state, when education was introduced, when formal education, British education was introduced, it was along with we all know about the Macaulay's plan, Macaulay's minutes and so on. But I would like to take your attention just for a few minutes on Macaulay's plan. We all think that Macaulay's minutes is a reason for English education in India. No. This is a huge misunderstanding that we have. Even before Macaulay, why Macaulay? That we should think about why Macaulay. British East India Company, when it was a pure commercial, any kind of religious interests. It actually banished missionaries who came to India. It deported them. To capture British East India Company, which was due for renewal of its charter license in 1802, some of the politicians got religious lobby of England to influence the Parliament to introduce religious propagation in or through the company at company's expense. Suddenly, this law, this is what is called Pious Clause. Pious Clause of 1792 was forced onto the company, and William Wilberforce became the chairman, the director of the company, and Charles Grant. These people managed to bring in this religious element into the company. Then began the downfall of the company, we know that. But anyway, when these religious people came, they also had to be given this money, a certain share of the company's profit, and that was much more than what they imagined. So what to do with this money? A plan had to be made. So Macaulay happened. The government of Britain had to introduce this, and Macaulay made his grand plan. Why English? Actually, what Macaulay gave us was a justification for English education. This money was actually to be spent on the missionary activities by backdoor. That is why we have all our educational institutions institutions starting from William Carey's College in Serampore, 1790s. And from 1813 we have these major colleges starting up, institutions starting up. In Kerala it started in 1816 with 4 missionaries coming up. And we started a school there, CMS College, Kottayam. And many missionaries began working on it. But the text they were producing for us, but let me stop there. Even before British missionaries, there were other missionaries who were actually religious missionaries who came to Kerala, mostly Catholic missionaries, who were promoting language or regional languages. They codified for their own purposes, for the succeeding generation to learn local language so that they can propagate religion in that particular language. Now, we have this 1657 or so document by Arnaud Spadri, the first major dictionary of Sanskrit language. Actually, that was the first dictionary of Sanskrit language ever written by a foreigner. It was much later that Bakshi's report comes up from Agra. But this was written, but it was not printed. It's Arnaud Spadri from, who lived in a place called Trichur. The first major textbook written, composed by missionaries was actually in Malayalam, not in English. It was Malayalam textbook which they published. English education started with William Ringletab, 1905 in Nagarkoil, the area where from Professor Nachimuthu originally comes from. It was the extreme end of Travancore. And then the operation moved to the area of Kottayam, which is the first 100% literate district in India, and even now the publication capital of Kerala. So our education started from there. Our craze for English medium schools happened much later. It is a post-independence phenomenon. Now, why English medium schools? Why the right of minorities? In the first major intervention by the state in language policy of education happened through the Kerala Reform Bill, Kerala Education Bill. When the Christian-owned public schools refused to accept the directive of the state, or the communist government there wanted to end the monopoly of the church in running the state education institutions. It was the reaction to that which led to the Kerala Education Bill. And the judgment, the Supreme Court judgment of that is the basis of most of these problems that we are discussing today. Now, Kerala has, as you all know, is a very special case. It has got wonderful human index ratings, but it has got more problems than those indexes. We cannot afford to have 100% Malayalam educational institution, schools. The reason is very simple. Most of the Malayalis, educated Malayalis, find job outside Kerala. You go anywhere in the world, this is the most diasporic contingent in the whole world after the Chinese, a particular section in China. This is the UN Human Resource Report of 2010. I am quoting from that. I forgot the name of that province in China. Kerala is the second one, where migratory proclivity is much more. We have our own problems associated with that. Now, given such situation, is it possible in Kerala to introduce 100% mother tongue education? Practically, no. Practically, no. But professionally, hopefully, we would like to have it. This is nothing against what we say, what we think is Canada's claim. Let me quote, before I wind up, one sentence, which is actually the beginning of my article. This is a report in 2006 by David Gradol. This is a report made for the British Council all over the world about the status of English and what is their strategy to push forward English. It says very clearly, India, the world's other emerging global power, is in some respects experiencing even more contradictions. On the other hand, Hindi may be at last gaining ground as a national language as infrastructure improvements make movement to the cities easier. But on the other hand, India has been triumphantly playing the English card in establishing its global leadership of outsourcing BPO. Furthermore, the capital of the new economy in India, Bangalore, lies in the south, where regional languages are, in linguistic terms, more remote from Hindi than English, and where the use of English has long represented a political challenge to the linguistic hegemony of the North. So let's make sure, when we push for regional languages, and when others make us push for regional languages, that push, our mother tongue claim, does not become a Trojan horse for the introduction of Hindi. Thank you very much.